Hello, welcome to Win Some Lose More. My name is Dieter Loosemore, and it is that time of year again where I am joined by my brother Rick to do the top 50. Um, I have to just accept that it is the too loose top 50. Not a fan. Not a fan. But 2020,
5-year-old joke now, isn't it?
well, yeah. What's this year? Four? Five?
I think this is year five.
Year five?
4. I don't know. I
I
lost
don't
track.
know. Um,
No,
any
4, year 4.
year four? Okay. Oh, why? Have you got all
5.
previous ones?
5.
Yeah.
It's year 5. It's year 5.
Year five.
2000, 2020 we started because it was a pandemic and we learned how to use Zoom.
Goodness me. Yes, it would have been. Wow, 5 years, and we still haven't left our homes. Um, Still playing lots of games. Tell me how you made your list.
Yeah, so I did do Pub Meeple again, like I did last year, which is the comparing program. Sort of, do you like this or this? Oh, do you like this or this? And then sort of sort it out for you. What I did first though was I made a short list because my list of games that I played ever is just getting ridiculous. Um, and so yeah, but basically put everything in that I thought could make it. And then from there, I did some tweaking because just sometimes you just end up with like something that's ridiculously high because one moment is like, do you like Colt Express Modern on Tour? Sure. And then everything gets like, and then later on, do you like Colt? No, I don't like that. I just, because it's an emotional gut instinct, sometimes it doesn't quite work out. So I did a little bit of tweaking. And I actually, Colt Express was my 51, almost there for.
Sure. Have you uh, held yourself to any rules or standards on how
Yeah,
you've made it?
I said last year that I wasn't going to do legacy games anymore, and I
Okay.
haven't done legacy games before. A couple of years ago, I cut out exit games. This year, I'm cutting out legacy games. We will see, but there are some games, I think, notably a couple in the last year that have had new new versions of, new skins of, and have had to make judgment calls. Because we've always said Forbidden Island, Forbidden Desert, that's one classification. All
Yeah.
the ticket rides, definitely
Yeah.
where the pandemics are they so and there's been some judgment calls. It's not consistent.
Yeah. Similarly, I loaded about 150 games into Pub Meeple, went through all of that, then did tweaking, then realized I'd forgotten a load of games. And so did more tweaking. I've just checked before we started. I have 10 new entries.
Oh, I think I've probably similar. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, maybe a few more.
Um, and some of that is they were lower than like 100, and I just never counted them before. And now they're up
Yes,
enough
yes,
that I'm paying attention. So I'm still calling them new, even if they're not, I've only played them this year. The other thing,
yes.
um, I have cut out any game that I've only played once. So Cards Express being your 51, I have two honorable mentions that won't be on this list. Um, Games that I've only played once or are games you can only play once. So I have
Mm,
now, like you did last year, I've taken out the Exit series. I played another one recently, still really enjoy it, but I
sure.
don't know how to say this game is whatever number
Mm,
because
mm,
it's not one game and I have mixed feelings on
mm,
different ones and things like
mm.
Captain Sonar, which still is
Wow.
potentially my best gaming experience
Yeah,
ever. It's
yeah.
number 14. I think this year is fighting for that, but
Mm,
um, is not here because I've still only played it the
mm,
once.
yeah.
So
It was, yeah. Going back to your early point, it was a good year for new games. I was actually looking at, I was like, oh, do you know what? I could easily do a top five new games that didn't make the 50.
yeah,
Spoilers, Forest Shuffle didn't make it,
sure.
which is a game that I played earlier in the year, thought would be right up my street. I really enjoyed it. Don't get me wrong, and I'll find out where it is in a minute. But it didn't make it because it was one I kept beating people, and
Yeah,
that's never fun.
yeah.
You want yeah, I felt like I rumbled it. What else have I got there? Dice Hospital, absolutely love that. Other things that just didn't quite make the list. I was like, oh man, these are great games, and yeah, so it's just a good year for new games for me.
Yeah, I've just checked. I've got 8 new games in my 50 to 100.
Yeah.
So similarly, 18 new games in the top, like 20%, near enough, 18%, in fact,
Mm,
games this year or to the list in some way. But that's all. I've reshuffled it. I had trouble with the pub meeple thing and the tweaking, not because, yes, those questions are nightmare. And I sent you a picture a couple of times being like, I don't know what to choose in this
yeah, yeah,
instance.
yeah,
Normally I'm like, what do I want to play right now? But I've now
yeah.
balanced that against, I've tried to both account for recency bias, but I also know that recency bias accounts for some of the changes. Um, and I mean that in the sense of if I'm playing it a lot recently,
Mm,
like if I played
mm.
it yesterday for the first time, I'm going to be excited, but I've tried to
Yes.
limit that. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
so it's a combination of I love this game. It's really good. It's something that I would recommend. But I think my main criteria this year is level of satisfaction every time I play.
Okay, good. I feel okay about my 48.
Okay. Well, we'll get there in two picks time. Tell me your number 50 for 2024.
My number 50, beating out Colt Express, as we've seen, is a new one to the list. And it's a Habba game, but not sort of the yellow box Habba sort of kids games. But when they were sort of that period, unfortunately, going out of business now, but that period where they went into sort of family games a bit. And this is Karuba, which is,
Sure.
have you played this?
No, it's always on that. I think the Dice Tower or
It's
somebody always
really,
mentions it, and it's like one I want to try.
yeah. Here's things I don't like in games: bingo mechanics, tile laying. It's got that. And it's good. It's good. It's if someone pulls a tile out of the bag, everyone has to place that tile or move their guy. And that or really helps because it's not
Sure.
just what are you going to do with this? Are you going to puzzle it out? Because I played Take It Easy, and this is knocked on tour well out of the list. That's been there for a number of years. That sort of which another sort of puzzly one,
Mhm.
but it gives you that juice of like, oh, but I could actually do this thing instead, and it's about getting a guy down a track and what have you. That he's looking for gold or something. Um, and so there were just enough sort of little twisty choices. And it's great. It's fast. It's 20 minutes long. Everyone's playing at the same time. That's what a bingo game's like. But yeah, just and really family friendly. And one of those that I think if I see it in a charity shop, I will snap it up because I think my kids will love it. We played it at a friend's house, but I thought, yeah, one of those games that just stayed with you, and you're like, I really enjoy that. That's actually really, and you play it once, and then you play it. It does qualify for your list because we played it second time straight away, and you're like, this is fab.
Yeah. My number 50 is also a brand new game to my list that I have played two versions of this year and is very sad in a way because number 51, you mentioned Cot Express, number 51 is The Crew. So it knocked The Crew out after tweaking. I tweaked it out, which surprised me,
Mhm.
for The Quest for El Dorado.
Ooh, okay, well
Made
done.
the top 50.
Yeah.
You taught me the original, the base game. And then for one of our nieces, I'd bought the Golden Temples, which is a standalone other one. So you taught me one, and then I was around theirs for her birthday, and we played it twice in 2 days. Like it was something that we just wanted to do. I know you've mentioned it before, and it may come up for you, but it has that like compulsive I mean, it's a deck builder and it's a race game. So both of those things are quite compulsive. So you just want to, what happens? What if I do this now? What if I buy this card instead? And
Mhm.
that if you exhaust one of the market cards, you get to choose what comes next. Beautiful stuff.
Juicy.
Rana Knizia do
Mm,
it very basic things very well.
mm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I think a couple of years ago, I sort of you reflected back to me that I'm someone who likes economic games. It's not something I'd really realized, but it's true. Something I'm realizing this year is I really like race games.
Sure.
Karuba fits into that category. El Dorado fits into that category. And my 49 sort of fits into that character category because it's back in, having fallen out last year. It's Camel Up
Excellent. Uh,
because
Not in mine, but keep talking. I'll try and find it.
Really fun. It fell out because last year I got Heat, which then pushed down Downforce, which then effectively pushed down Camel Up. And I was like, Camel Up, well, I'm going to play Colt Express and say, yeah, they're very different games, so they fill that same sort of space.
Sure.
And the more I've thought about it, and I haven't played Downforce basically all year, and it's fallen out of the 50. I know because I'm like, I would quite like to have Camel Up. It's not a race game, but it is just a very good, silly, fun gambling. I'm really looking forward to it. Next year. I've backed Ready Set Bet, so I think that might scratch some of that itch.
Yeah.
But Camel Up is in the kids' toy library. They can borrow some toys at the local toy library, and I keep saying, kids, we should borrow this, and they're like, and it's the new version. I'm like, you will love this. At some point, I'll get them to do it, and they will love that.
My 77, so still around.
Great
Um,
game.
Great game. My 48, 49, sorry, is another new game by probably my hit designer for the year, Paolo Mori. This is Captain Flip. It
Okay.
is an incredibly simple family game. You draw tiles from a bag and you draw it a particular way up, and you have to immediately choose, do I want that face or do I want to flip it? If you flip it, you cannot go back. And it's just a collection of,
It's unseen.
yeah.
Oh,
And it's just a collection of like piratey characters that are basically spatial set collection, sort of. So they have to go in columns, they have to go in the bottom of that column, and it's like if this one's touching any of these, it gets nothing, but otherwise it gets three. Or the
okay.
more of these you have, the better. Very, very basic stuff. It's been kind of one of our go-to. We finished our main game. We need a filler at the group that I go to. So I've probably played it 4 or 5 times in the last
Mm,
6 months. It's probably since it's come
nice.
out. And it's just fun. There's nothing amazing. It's just I I would love to buy it for your kids, honestly. Like it's that
Yeah,
level
yeah.
of a
We'll
lot of
take it.
fun, good decisions, but
Yeah,
fun.
yeah. Great. Number 48 is the newest one on my list, which is why you're going to have to hold me to account. I have only played it once, to be fair, but it really was satisfying. Two things I've learned this year. One, I like racing games. Two, I finally discovered Reiner Knizia,
Okay.
who designed Eldorado, and I've played other stuff of his in the past, and I have not really clicked into it. I think where I don't click with him is when he's a little bit more thematic, because Lost Cities, which bless it doesn't really have a theme, but when he is sort of at his just numbers and colors elegance is unbeatable basically. And Rondo, I played in the Baltic Gallery up here in Newcastle, at Gateshead on the other side of the river. Um, he was just sat on the side, and my eldest was like, "Can we play this?" And I was like, "Sure, I'll learn it and teach it." And it's a simple game of okay, so you've got in front of you two colored discs, and you've got a capacity of five colored discs. You a nice little tray. Basically, it's a hand size of five, and you can put that out, or you can draw from the back. If you put some, you can put as many as you like out, and then from there you can do sequential on a board. And so, say there's a two purple, a two green, a two blue, and a two yellow available to you. If you don't have any of those colors and there's five colors, you can't place. But if you do have one of those colors, you can place it and you get 2 points. Simple enough. But then if the next color along, you can place that color as well. So you're making a little chain. So it's about going, oh, there's an opportunity to do two of these. But if you don't want to, you can actually place a tile face down and skip through that color to get to the other one. So say there's a four green and you've got a green, but you don't have the one before, you can flip that. But equally, if you have two of the same color, you could pile it up. And so you get 4 plus 4 is 8 points. And you got to get this choice: do I pull two things from the bag, or do I place one as many as I like and draw one back up? And it's just like this. It's one of those things you're like, this shouldn't be as exciting or as engaging or as it is. Last year, they someone has reskinned it as Sunrise Lane, Sunset Lane, something like that. It's now cards instead of discs. It's now buildings minis. I really want to play it. I showed it to my eldest, and she went, "Oh, that's much better. That's much cuter." I think I don't know. I actually quite like the pulling the nice chunky tiles from the bag. It was just it was just so clean. It was just so beautiful. It just worked. And then I'd only played it once. She immediately took it to another table where there was some other kids, and she was like, "Let me teach you this game."
Amazing.
And I looked it up. It got lots of plaudits at the time, and sort of like sank like a stone. If you get to play Rondo, it is good. It is just really delightful.
Do you know how I know it's a Knizia game? Um, it sounds like it's incredibly simple to play, but not
Mm.
as simple to explain.
That's it. That's exactly it.
Like he's
Yeah,
so full of
yeah, yeah,
twists and oh, but
yeah,
this, it's yeah,
yeah.
it immediately I'm like, I can't actually follow what you're saying, but I know it's very simple.
But if it was there in front of you, you go, "Oh yeah, that's fine."
Yeah.
Yeah, it gives you that Lost Cities vibe.
My 48 down 14 spots, not a new game. Um, just because the space is crowded and I've got 10 new games and they've got to go somewhere, so 14's not wild. I was 34 last year. I've grouped them together. This is the Sushi Go system. Um,
Yeah.
primarily Sushi Go and Sushi Go Party. Sushi Roll is different enough. I think that would be a slightly different thing. But just super simple, pick and pass, drafting, set collection, a little bit of a theme thus far. But
Yeah.
cute. And I've got the small box now. I used to have Party. I've now just got Sushi Go
Mm,
because I can take it camping or take it to work or like anything. Like it just can go anywhere. Takes 1 minute to teach. You play three times and go, oh, aren't these cute? Like again, just fun. That's this 10, I think, is just fun.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's dropped down to 53 from 47 from me, but
Cool.
it's great. And my kids absolutely love it.
Yeah.
My 47 has dropped 10 places, like you say, probably 10 new games. That's about right. QE, um, silly gambling, not gambling, bidding game where you can bid anything you like on various properties. It's a draw, flip and write effectively. But yeah, you're writing with a dry white marker. You're filling out. Have I got one of these? Have I got one of these? That'll score you X amount of points. It looks really overwhelming. It plays really simply. The big catch being you can spend whatever you like. You can write any denomination at any number, but the person who spends the most money at the end of the game loses. So it's like and it always starts small and it ends up big, and it's just a very very silly funny game.
Yeah. Um, my 47 is a weird quirk of Pub Meeple. I didn't tweak it out because it not being in the 50 last year was a weird quirk of Pub Meeple. Um, last year it was 84, 82,
Yes.
sorry, so it didn't make it. So it's up 32 places. I haven't played it this year. This is Great Western Trail. Um, good game. Just a really good game. And I saw it pop up in this position and was like, I'm not mad about that. A slow
Yeah.
deck builder to sell cows, and send it to further and further stations on a very slow rondel. It's a slow game, but it just works. It was one of the few games that I played once and immediately bought the expansion. Really loved the expansion. It did add a little bit of complexity. I would like to come back to it now with all the revamps, and I can't remember which ones you've said you may talk about. I don't know, but there's New Zealand and
Yeah.
Argentina and other things that people seem to like and bring a bit more life and skew away from some of the problematic stuff with the first edition. So solid, a game that crunches my brain a bit. The next couple do that. Great Western Trail, can't tell you why, but I wasn't mad about it.
Well, I tell you what, this is one that I did tweak because in I've just had a look when it initially came through whatever it's called Pub Meeple,
Mm.
it was number 7. I was like,
Okay.
if I like it that much, how come I don't own it? And I mean, to be fair, I have owned it twice because I do really like it and it will turn up later. But I mean, yeah, it just doesn't get played. But there's other games that just don't get played that are still, anyway. So I had to be like, no, this is not a top 10 game for me. But yeah, it like you say, it's great. And yeah, yeah. So I also had to tweak it. There you go. Right. My number 46 was 23 last year. So by that maths. I like it half as much. Um, it's Fantastic Factories.
Oh, nice.
Um, which is charming and lovely. And I taught a non-gamer friend who I went on holiday with in the summer, and he was and I played him two or three things, and he like, oh, I really like that. He's a systems guy. He's in the manufacturing industry, and he's like, all right, but to do that, which does that, which does that, which does that. Great. It's just and it's got one of the just best things in games, which is roll some dice, do some stuff.
Yeah.
Looks really charming, looks really fun, chunkily made, solid good game. Fantastic Factories.
Yeah. The other game, well, my 46 is the other kind of when Great Western Trail was in my 20s, so was this. They both just kind of dropped of a similar weight-ish, not dissimilar era. I no longer own either of them, haven't played them in a while. But it's the Castles of Burgundy. It's just really
Mm,
satisfying game. I
good.
just haven't had a chance to play it recently. Um, and I have no intention to sully my shelf with its aesthetic. Um, I just don't, and I'm not spending £120 for a £20 game just so it looks nice. I'm sure you've done a wonderful job, Awaken Realms. I'm not buying it. I'm not doing it. Um, but the actual gameplay, super satisfying. Again, very simple. Roll some dice and then use those for your actions. Basic tile building. Some give you end game, some give you ongoing, some give you immediate. Like it's super Euro-y stuff. It's
Mm,
definitely fast. That's what he does. Um,
mm,
but yeah, it's dropped because I just haven't played it, so it's lost
mm,
that recency bias. But I know in my head and my heart that it's a very good game that I really enjoy. At two,
mm,
at push three, never four.
mm. My 45 is back in the 50. It's only been in there once, but I haven't played this in years. Um, Quadropolis. Uh, a game that I played maybe probably best part of 10 years ago. Really enjoyed. We played it a lot. It's got a great sort of this is a game where you select what building you're going to build in a city, a quadropolis, by an arrow, which is one, two, three, or four, and and the number that you use then determines where you get to place it in your city. And it's another one where it like sounds really complicated, but you see it on a table and you go, well, yeah, that's fine. Slight tweak on sort of building upwards as well. And it's a Days of Wonder game, so it looks lovely. It's made beautifully, and it's got a small sort of resource management element to it. Like I said, there's a flip side to it, which is the expert mode, and it plays really well at both of those modes. And it's just one of those games I'm like, another one, maybe like Garuba, see it in a charity shop, maybe cheap on Amazon one day if they reprint it. I'm like, in maybe a year or two, this will be great for my kids. This is a good family weight. But again, it's a lot of this seems to be this list. Just fun. It's just fun stuff.
Yeah.
You like this, didn't you?
I just checked, it's my 87, so still in the top 100.
Yeah,
Um, I think I've only ever played Quadropolis, not Quintopolis or whatever it would be, because it's five by
sure.
five.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, beautiful, lovely to touch.
Yeah,
um,
yeah. Chunky.
chunky pieces, everything's just satisfying. And just good, clean fun. Good, clean fun. Um,
You can take your nana to it.
my 45 down one spot, so doing very well. The game that I am the fan of, a solo
Oh,
game.
Imaginarium.
No, that's sadly left my collection and possibly my list. McKee, the other one.
Oh, sure.
Um, World War II, solo worker placement, the French Resistance, just
Mm,
going against the flip of a card as patrols and things come to try and stop you as you're delivering goods, feeding people that are in need, and completing a couple of missions. I got the expansion when they did that. That just gives you more, which is always a great kind of expansion. There's just some cool, simple stuff that just works, and I like it, and I will keep playing it and do keep playing it, so it keeps being on my list.
mm, very good. I number 44 for me is back in the 50, having slipped to 51 last year. This is Codenames.
Okay,
Yeah. I think we'll see as we go through this increasingly, and even it's come up in the last few times. Getting to the stage of my life where some of my chief game partners are my children.
sure.
Um, and they're just getting to the age where they can start playing stuff that aren't just kids' games. Um, and this is one where we've not played full-blown Codenames, we've played effectively Codenames Pictures, but it's the Disney version,
Yeah, yeah,
and it's gone down really well. And it's just one of those times you go, this is universal. You really can take your nan to this one,
yeah,
and it's got tension, and it's got sort of everyone laughing, and it's got sort of a little bit of cleverness and a little bit of strategy even. So like, oh, if I do, I'll leave that for them to mess up, and there's just enough to make you go. And again, we always say this: Vlad Chivadl is just like
breadth.
it's one of those games you're like, how has someone not invented it? How is this not a pen and paper game already? Except it's not. Scattergories already was. Whatever the other, Balderdash already was. That was the dictionary game. All of those games pre-existed. This didn't.
Yeah,
He dreamt it up, and everyone went, "Didn't this already exist?" Because it's so good.
yeah, yeah, very much so. Not on mine. Have played it this year, in fact. Good. I've just have played lots of games. My 44 down 9 spots, so not wildly
Mhm.
dissimilar. Wasn't in my collection for a while. I'd lent it out, so I want to play it now that I've got it back. Cute, um, bizarre size game for Uwe Rosenberg. New York Zoo. I talk about it
Yeah,
quite a lot, and it's just fun for me, moving around a track to get polyomino pieces to make a zoo.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Good for you. Good for you. I
That
won't
was
troll you
multiple
because
then,
you'll
code
then
names.
won't.
Good for you.
Yeah, you won't troll me about my Uwe Rosenberg that you don't like later. Um, no, I'm not polyomino generally. There are things that break that rule, but generally it's not for me. If that's the main thrust, then it's not. It's not. All right. Number 43, it was 21 last year, which means I like it less than half as much as last year. But
Half
it's
as
a pretty
well as
big
you
drop.
deserve. Yes.
Yeah. And you might be a bit sad, actually. This is Century Spice Road.
You're going to be sad at mine, so that's okay.
Okay, cool. This is still a good game. It's not got any more themeful. It's I don't know. I've just played a lot of it, and it's great, and I still have it in my collection, and don't imagine getting rid of it anytime soon. But it's fine. It's good. It's good.
Uh, my 43 down 25 spaces. Um,
Mhm.
I'll be interested to see what you've done in terms of the versions conundrum.
Oh,
Yeah. This is Seven Wonders Duel, a great
Ash.
game that has not been in my collection a long time.
Mm.
And I have now tried the new version, the Lord of the Rings one, and it made me want to play Seven Wonders Duel. Um,
Mm.
Almost for that Century Spice Road thing of I don't need to care about theme, I just want to do the action. And I think
Is
that's
this
what
so? Is this listing for both of them?
I'm putting them together, but if you were to push me, I would say original. Because
Okay,
I've only played
that's
the new
interesting.
one once, so I can't really
Hmm.
speak to the depth of those changes and whatnot.
That's
But what it
interesting.
always gave me, like Lost Cities, like Century Spice Road, is just that I can switch my brain off to caring
Hmm.
about what's going on and just do a cool thing and build something and feel like I pull off some cool turns now and then. And it's a
Hmm.
great two-player game, lots of ways to win, and that push and pull, that not Cold War, tug of war, kind of
Mm.
element to it. It always just works well. It works well. I just haven't looked at it or touched it in a while, and it hasn't occurred to me to do so. So it still deserves to be here because it's great, but it's not
Mm.
one that I'm thinking to go for.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Yeah, no, I initially put them as separate, and then one of them, I'll say that, one of them was down here, and
Okay.
the other was up there. And so I cut this one entirely because on reflection, I think the same as you. I think it basically is the same system, even though it plays differently on the table, as it were. The the draft is the same.
Yes.
It feels the same, I think. Yeah. Okay. Where are we? 42.
Yeah.
42 is a new one on my list.
Mine's a new one.
This, hmm?
Mine's a new one that you
I
will
think
love.
I think you will like this, but I don't think you've played it.
Okay.
Number 42 is without doubt my most favorite Clemens Franz game that there ever has been. And that is not saying very much. This is Lorenzo Il Magnifico.
Oh, sure.
So this is, I guess you'd say a worker placement. There's a little bit of economic play in there as well. The main thing is you have different color or different symboled workers. It's very badly made, Simon. It's very hideous stickers on cardboard and Clemens Franz art. Please let me vomit in a bag. It's awful. However, the puzzle is very good. You have these different, like I think, sort of colored, subtle symbols things, and they can go in different columns of actions. If you go in one column, it will cost you less at the bottom and more at the top. But if you go again there later, you either can't go there or you have to do something special. And so it's a lot of puzzling. It
Right.
gave me Paladins of the West Kingdom vibes. That
Right.
kind of like worker placement, but puzzle, but oh, a little bit of asymmetry. Um, yeah, really fun. Will never ever cross the threshold of my house.
Sure.
Clemens Franz, please stop working. Get a different career. I want you to feed your family, but not like this. Um, but it's really good, and I think you would really, really like it.
Cool. I know you like my 42 because two of the three plays of it have been with you. And our last play of it, um, probably in my top 10 experiences.
Okay.
It is a section of the list for race games for me. This is Heat, Pedal to the Metal. Um,
Wow.
I wasn't fussed when we first played it, and then I played it on a games day with my group and was like, you know what? It is just very good, isn't it? And then played it with some of yours and
On your birthday.
an absolute blast.
Yeah.
It was great. And I know people elevate games, particularly ones that are interactive
Mm.
narratively. I know there's no narrative really, but just
No,
there's
no, no, but
a race. But like, oh, you get to do that. Oh no, then I did this. Like, there's commentary as you go, that kind of.
yes.
And so, I may play another time with three silent people and hate it. Like
Yeah.
it may do that for me, but I had a great time. And so it popped up here and I was like, you know what? Yeah, it's very good. Again, Days of Wonder back to kind of great quality.
Mm.
It's dipped for a while, but this is just very good. It's just very good, and there's not much more to say on it.
You heard about the second expansion
Oh,
with
stop.
one of the maps has got a tunnel and you can't discard cards at the end of your turn. You're kind of left with them because you're a bit blind.
Oh, joy.
You can
What
imagine the carnage. All right, 41. Let's wrap this up with another Days of Wonder, folks. And this has actually climbed for me from 48. And I've not played it in a year because I've not been to our parents' house to play Memoir 44.
great choice.
Well, it's just one of those, like, again, a bit like you with Heat, it puts up here with the vagaries of Pub Meeple, and you go, yeah, no, it's good. The action selection is really simple, and then the way it plays out is rich and deep. And someone like our dad who could definitely play games, but it's not overwhelming for him. Like, here's a list of rules, here's the ways you can attack. Here's three cards, I think it is, and you just go, oh, thanks, I'll do that one. And then how's that going to play out? Magic, plus loads of expansions, plus, 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 plus. I've not played any of that stuff, but it was just good. It was just good, and it deserves all the plaudits. And I can see why it's got an army of fans and why our dad really, really likes it. Oh
Unintended.
yeah, it's got a troop of fans. A fleet. No,
Uh, sure. My 41 down 5 spaces. Yes, five. You will never play this, but this is kind of a key into another genre of games that I really like, but it's my least favorite of the genre, but it's really, really good. Arkham Horror, the card game.
yeah,
Not a theme I care about, but a system that just is so good and is probably the best of the system, but is such a least favorite theme for me that it's the gap between the other one I'm going to talk about later is
Hmm.
for that reason. It's the best
Hmm.
narratively, it's the best mechanically, probably, it's the best for if you want to get into this world, my goodness, can you get into this world? They've produced so much that is rich in story, continuing story that you just can
Hmm.
play through lots and lots. There are standalones. I've got one of those that I can pull out every now and then, like, or there's people at my group that just want to play, and it's just, if you like this, you will love this.
Hmm.
But for me, I love these kinds of systems. Don't care for the theme, so it's down here, but still 41, great.
Sure.
Hi, 10 done. We'll be back next time with whatever it is, 40 to 31 maths, simple maths. But thank you very much for watching. I'm only speeding because apparently there is a timer on these things that wasn't there in 2020. So we're being cut short. We may need to edit things in the future, but for now, thank you very much for watching. I've been Dieter. This is Rick for Too Loose Top 50 2024. See you next time. Bye.